Good afternoon, my friends. This is a look in the dark, chapter 10, which is called now 4, and it's part 2 of chapter 10. So Carol had discovered that Sue had been sacked from Stanhurst's office for theft. Irony in that. Theft of photocopy paper that she'd never stolen. And of course Carol came to realise that it was her that had used up all the photocopy paper and ink, which was the cause of Sue's being sacked. So the idea that she'd been forming in her mind, do you know what it was? It wasn't just an idea now, it was a necessity. What she had caused the girl to lose must be restored. For some reason, a verse from the Bible kept bouncing around in her head. One from a sermon that she'd found history interesting maybe 10 years earlier. Withhold not good from them to whom it is due when it is in the power of thine hand to do it. Not much remained from the Presbyterian church upbringing that she had, but that text had struck a chord with her. The triumph of her return and the way she had laid the grounds for another call if it was needed should have given her a real high, but her anxiety about Sue's situation dampened her feelings. On the one hand, she felt like being a valued customer at the bank that she'd robbed. At the same time, though, she thought back to the time of primary school when she was in serious trouble for tearing a book that she didn't tear. Nobody believed her, and whoever did tear it didn't own up, and she was given a scathing telling off. Full of empathy now, she remembered how she felt at 7 years of age to be blamed in the wrong, and she guessed how Sue must be feeling now. As Carol entered the door of the cafe, looking forward to seeing Theo Idrios. She had been a little surprised when Danny had agreed that she should pay Theo a visit as well as Stanhurst, trusting her judgment of the man's character more than she had thought. But Danny did just tell her to be careful, and to give the Greek his regards. She approached the counter where Theo had his head down looking through some paperwork. But looking up, a very warm smile spread across his face. Theo didn't smile with his mouth. His whole head was involved. "Ah, this is a pleasant surprise. My window cleaner friend Carol, how are you? Smart is how you dress today. Is Daniel with you?" Carol looked anxiously about. There was just one customer, an elderly lady, rounding off her meal with a cigarette. "Rita, see, this my friend, Carol." "Didn't know you had any friends, you old rascal." Carol could tell that the cross response was a mock one from a lady who was very fond of Theo. "Hello, Carol." Carol waved her hand. "How you doing, Rita?" "Oh, Irish is it? Northern, innit? Here, I wish you lot would fight it out among themselves. Look at this." The typical tabloid headline read, "2 die in IRA bomb trap." Later on, Carol would get details of the incident, which happened on a country road not far from Carl Island, so in the area of County Tyrone that Carol had grown up in. When she got the details, Carol would feel sorry for the families of the 2 British soldiers who'd been killed, but would feel similar sympathy with the family of the Republican who died in the shootout after the incident. She found these situations impossible, so how could she help this London lady understand what was happening in the north of Ireland? Would a history lesson really help her? Her response was, "It's very sad, Rita." Theo was more pointed. "Hey, Rita, don't you always go on about your Harry and all the Germans he bombed in the war?" "That was different, Theo." "Go tell that to the people in Berlin, Rita. How that different when bomb is hitting the house?" "You told me you hated the Jerrys too." "So we all have hates." Rita looked at Carol. "Nothing personal, lad. One of those lads was just 19 like my grandson." "It's okay, Rita, I understand, but you know most of the people in Northern Ireland are just getting on with their lives. Very generous too. Charities do better over there than they do here, but the papers don't report that much." "Well, no offence meant, love." "And none taken, Rita. Well, Theo, how are you doing then? Any chance of one of those mega breakfasts and a bit of a chat?" While the Greek Cypriot organised the breakfast, Carol listened as Rita gave her a graphic account of her grandson's performance in a local football match. He'd scored 3 goals, and Carol could understand her being excited, but she could see that Rita was a talker, not a listener. 2 years are wasted on her, Carol was thinking. Well, dear, it's nice to meet you, but I can't sit here all day. Me daughter Beverly's calling today. Hey, Theo, I'm going. You here? See you in the week. As the cafe door closed, Carol started thinking about Sue again. Though she regretted the circumstances, she was relieved that the girl wasn't working for Stanhurst anymore. Theo cut into her thoughts as he placed a plate in front of her with an immense amount of food on it. He also brought 2 mugs of tea. Theo, did you ever see an oyster fry? Carrie, sorry, not understand oyster fry? Don't worry, Theo, this looks good. Listen, I've something really important to ask you. You fix him good, yeah? You and Danny. Oh yes, Danny boy has it all in hand and we fix him good. But in a while. Good. Carol, I dance on these tables when he is locked up. Yes, Theo, but listen. A girl used to work for him, do you know her? Sue. Yes, I know her. Well, a good girl. He sacked her, say she's still, but wanted to make room for that woman of his. Do you ever see Sue? Yesterday. Looking for work, came here for tea and we chat. If I could, I would give her a job. Nice girl, I know, no thief. Sue not thief, not steal. I know she's not a thief. And I'm the one responsible for her being sacked. You, how can this be? Theo, I used all the paper up, copying his records. She got blamed for stealing it, that hypocrite. She spat out the words. Still, I stole the papers to copy things from his office which we needed. His fault, not you. Sue in no way to him anyway. Sue wanted him out of the way. Doesn't make me feel any better, Theo. Poor Sue, in here crying. That pig, I take the meter cleaver and split open the head. Well, Theo, hopefully we've a better way of dealing with him. Look, do you know where Sue lives? She lived with her mother and her dad. He had his hands wide apart, but where I don't know, but I've phone number. Good. I say to her, if I can find job, I ring her. Carol, you eat at the breakfast. As they chatted, Carol ate and they exchanged views and a bit of culture. British soldiers in Cyprus and British soldiers in Ireland. Religion and nationalism in each. As Theo put it, Protestants and Catholics in Ireland and Greeks and Turks in Cyprus. As Theo went to fetch Carol an after-meal second cup of tea, Carol shouted, Theo, would you ring Sue, get her address and tell her a lady is coming round to see her about a job, but don't say who though. Carol knew she was going to have to do some explaining and persuading, but she was sure she owed Sue that job. After Theo had informed Carol that he telephoned Sue's home and talked to her mother, and that she'd given him the address as well as assurance that Sue would be home in an hour, he told her that he had something else for her. He handed Carol a piece of paper with writing on it. Looked like a car registration number. What is this, Theo? Carol asked. This guy. Come to Stanhurst often, maybe 2 times a week. Friend of mine work in a club in Chelsea. They go there too, Stanhurst. This man, that woman, working there. He pointed to the Major's office. This driver he go to, not know what does for work, car 5 years old Vauxhall Cavalier, but he live high with that pig Stanhurst. He pointed to the office again but shook his fist. He no good, I say, if he hang around Stanhurst. Only regular visitor here. Cheek to park my back door. That is number. Well done, Theo, but be careful. Maybe not good to write too many things down. Theo spread his arms out and frowned. My memory, princess, is good for faces, yeah? No good when numbers. Theo also gave Carol the Battersea address where Sue resided with her parents. Now the cafe was starting to fill up, and after a few minutes of listening to Theo's cheery banter with his regular customers, she decided to go to her next destination. He seemed to get on well with the young ones like he did with the pensioners. Carol gave him a goodbye hug and he whispered that the breakfast was on the house. As Sue stepped out of the door, a young man at a nearby table with his mates wolf whistled loudly to the accompaniment of laughter from the rest of the table's occupants. Carol just heard Theo shout as she let the door close. Hey Simon, you boys behave, you hear me? Carol gave the boys a wave. and was chuckling as she walked away, but her thoughts were soon with Sue. It really was a miserable day now, and she would be very pleased to board the train to Frome. But first she had to go and level things with Sue and encourage her to fill the available post. She felt bad at having wronged the teenager, but she could also see the wrong and benefit the wrong. She could also right the wrong and benefit the investigation at the same time. Deciding that she'd seen enough London drizzle to do it for the time being, she found a taxi, gave the driver the address, and was pleased not to have to make any effort to find it herself. Getting out of the taxi and seeing number 17 clearly marked on a door that was bright red, she rang the bell. It seemed to be a well-maintained house, better than some others in this street. As the door opened, a well-worn lady of about 40, but with a resemblance to her pretty daughter, smiled and spoke with a friendly voice. "Hello, I'm Mrs. Parry, Sue's mother. Is it about the job?" So, you see why this chapter is called Now 4. Sue's going to be offered the opportunity to work along with the others in their effort to defeat the evil animal trader Stanhurst. Hope you're enjoying the story so far. Hope you like Theo. I think he's a nice character, a good heart. Nice to share this with you, my friends, and the next episode will show how Sue reacts to the offer of a job, how things change for her suddenly for the better. We send love to you all and hope you're all doing okay. All the very best. Bye bye now, my friends. Bye bye.